Hello, and welcome to this short yoga class to help you strengthen your core. So, when it comes to the core, a lot of times we think about the front of the body, those abdominal muscles on the front of our trunk. But there's so much more to the core. It is this part of the middle of our body that surrounds some of these important organs and gives our body support throughout our day to day lives. And it's not just the front, it is the front, it is the sides, it is the back. It's also, there's a ceiling and a floor to our core. So, the ceiling of the core is the muscle that is all along the inside of the bottom of the rib cage, and that's called the diaphragm. And then the floor of the pelvic or the core is the pelvic floor muscles. And then we've got muscles here all along the front, the sides, and the back of this core cylinder. So today we're going to give a little bit of attention to all of these different parts of our core. And we'll start on our mat laying on our back. So when you found a comfortable position on your back, on your mat, just take a moment before we start to move to connect with yourself. So maybe softening or closing your eyes, bring your attention inside and just notice how you feel today. And now bring your attention to your breath and just notice how your breath feels right now. And just observing for now, no need to change anything or critique anything. You might sense where you feel your breath. It might be that you feel it up at your chest or at your nostrils, or you might feel it right down in your belly or anywhere throughout your body. And once you get a sense for where you feel your breath, then we'll bring a little bit more attention to the movement of our breath. And if you can't feel it at all, that is absolutely fine. It's just an exploration here. So let's bring our attention up to our chest. So rest your hands somewhere on your rib cage. Notice, can you get a sense for a bit of movement in your ribs as you breathe? Perhaps a bit of a rise and fall with your inhales and exhales. And so that muscle that I mentioned at the bottom of your ribs, the diaphragm muscle, ideally as we breathe, when we inhale, that diaphragm muscle will get pushed down a little bit as we fill our lungs. And as we exhale, it'll rise back up. So see if you can connect with that. Just picture that in your own body. And then bring your hands down to your belly. See if you can sense a bit of rise and fall at your belly with each breath. And as you continue to breathe, can you try to picture, maybe cultivate a sense of your breath moving all the way down into your core, all the way down to the pelvic floor? So, breathing itself can be part of exploring the core of our body because we're involving that ceiling and the floor of the core. And then we'll let that go. And it's so nice to start the class on our backs because your spine, your body is in a fairly neutral position here when you're laying on your back. And we're going to play around with keeping ourselves in this fairly neutral position in lots of different positions today, not just laying down. But for now, feel what neutral feels like, and then let's move out of neutral a couple of times just to contrast. So first, arch your back as if you're trying to press your belly button up towards the ceiling. And then round your back as if you're trying to press your mid back down into the ground. and go back and forth a few times. And you might notice as you do this, what happens in these other segments of your body. Can you sense your pelvis and how that moves when you arch and round? Can you sense your rib cage as well? Maybe a sense of the bottom of your ribs lifting up as you arch, pressing down as you round. And then just relax, come back to neutral. See what it feels like to be here in neutral. All right, let's start to move. So just lift one leg up, keep your knee bent, and try to bring your shin kind of parallel to the ground. And just rest one hand on the front of that leg. Nice. Press your leg and your hand together. See if you can feel the muscles in the core of your body start to work when you do that. And then let that go. Let's go to the other side. Same thing here, just pressing leg into hand, hand into leg. Set it down. Try that a couple of times. And as you go, you might notice as you do this, is your spine arching or rounding, anything like that? Can you keep it fairly neutral as you go? Okay, let's move on now. This time lift both legs up, same position, trying to make your shins kind of parallel to the ground. Nice, your hands can just rest for this one. Feel into your core. Notice is there some engagement happening at this part of your body. And now keep one leg right where it is and straighten the other one a little bit. Nice, come on back in and let's switch sides. And this movement can be as big or as small as you like. You can be up here, you can be down here. It's up to you. Just use this as a way to wake up and sense into which muscles, which areas of your core feel like they're doing a little bit of work right now. Okay, let's let this go. This time, bring your knees right into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe you want to rock from side to side a bit. All right, come right back to center. And let's come back to that same position. So with bent knees, bring your legs up like this, shins parallel. I like to flex my feet as well, so it feels like they're active and involved in this movement. And now bring your arms up towards the ceiling like this. We're going to do that leg movement, but we'll add in the arms. So straighten one leg a little bit and then reach the opposite arm up overhead. Nice. Come on back in and let's switch sides. And just go back and forth a few times. Notice what happens in your core as you do this. You'll probably feel some engagement here. Does your back, when you do this, want to arch around or shift around in any other way? And can you keep it fairly neutral? So if you find that it's really arching or rounding when you reach out, make this movement smaller. Just explore how much movement can you find while keeping your trunk fairly neutral. Let's let this go again. Bring your knees back in. Have a bit of movement. Nice. And let's come all the way over to our side. And then make your way right up to a seat. And just sit any way that's comfortable for you. If you like, you can grab something to sit on, like a folded blanket or a little cushion. You're also welcome to come up and sit on a chair for these next few movements. Our goal is to have our spine as neutral as possible. So when you sit on the ground, if you're sitting kind of hunched over like this, then sitting up on a little bit of elevation can help you to feel a little bit more upright. Okay, and when you're ready, take a breath here. And now in this new position, can you picture that sense of inhaling to fill your whole trunk with air so that you're involving not just your chest, but also your diaphragm muscle right down to your pelvic floor. Nice. Let's add some movement. Bring your right hand down to rest, fingertips to the ground, or holding the side of your chair if you're sitting up on a chair. And then bring the other arm up. Nice. From here, can you make your spine a little bit longer? As if you could reach from your belly button down to the ground and from your belly button up to the top of your head at the same time. And then let's go over into a side bend. Nice. Only go as far as you can while keeping both sides of your seat on the ground. And come on back up. Let's do that on the other side, switching your arms, adding some length to your spine. Go the other way. And come on back up. Nice. Maybe you want to reach your arms up between movements here. And let it go. A little bit of a shake out here. Awesome. All right, again, bring your right fingertips to the ground. Bring your left arm up. Add some length to your spine. And this time we're going to go into a little twist. So think about turning your ribs to come into the twist, just turning a little bit more to the right. Nice. And then bring your arm down. Maybe rest it lightly on your knee here. And then come on back up. Let's switch the arms. Add some length to your spine and go the other way. Again, float your arm down so that fingertips can rest lightly on your knee. And then come on back to center. Lovely. Okay, let's try those same movements a little bit differently. So this time, bring both arms up. Maybe you want to interlace your fingers here. Nice. We're going to do our side bend, but without a hand on the ground. So lengthen through your spine. Tip over one way. Again, only as far as you can go while keeping both sides of your seat on the ground. Take a breath here. And then slowly come back up to center. Let's go the other way. Nice. Take a breath. And back up. And go side to side a few times. As you side bend and slowly come back up, which muscles can you feel doing some work here? Let's do it one more time. And then come on back, let it go. Maybe shake out your arms, maybe give your spine a little bit of movement. Lovely. Okay, now let's do our twist without our hands. So since we're thinking about moving from the rib cage to come into our twist, you might, if you like, rest your hands on your low ribs. And then again, add some length to your spine. Not so much that your shoulders want to pick up, just picturing again, lengthening from belly button up and down. And then turn your ribs over to the right. Take one breath here. And come on back to center and go the other way. Nice. Once you find your twist here, notice again which muscles are waking up to try and help you with this movement. Go side to side a few times. Take it really nice and slow. It might help you to feel what muscles, what areas of your body are getting involved here. Nice. Let this one go as well. Take a moment, move a little bit, and then pause and just tune in. When you bring your attention inwards, what do you notice now? How does your breath feel? Can you sense the effects of any of these movements? Notice which parts of you are kind of lighting up after some of those movements. Nice. Okay. Let's switch it up again. We'll come to a tabletop position on our hands and knees. Awesome. Once you're here, let's do our arching and rounding movements, what we call cat and cow. So, starting with a fairly neutral spine, now arch your back, coming into cow pose. Belly button dropping down. Feel as if you're lifting your tail up towards the ceiling, lifting your head up a bit, and then round as if you're trying to press your tailbone down towards the ground, curling your head in a little bit, and just keep going, arching and rounding, giving your spine a little bit of movement. And make your way back to a more neutral position. What feels like neutral for you? Lovely. Okay, and we're going to do a few movements and see if we can keep our spine in a fairly neutral position like this. First off, lift one hand and the opposite knee just a little bit off the ground. See if you can keep that fairly neutral position in your spine and set them down. And let's switch sides. Other hand and knee. Nice. Go back and forth a couple of times. Notice what is waking up in your core when you do these itty bitty movements. And let's add a little bit to this. The next time you lift your hand and your knee a little off the ground, from there, reach your arm and your leg long. Nice. And let's do that side to side. And as you go, notice what's happening in your core. Notice when you reach your arm and your leg out, are you losing that sense of engagement in your core, losing your neutral spine? Can you only lift your arm and your leg up as far as it takes to keep that nice neutral spine? Keep that solid sense of engagement in your core. Can you still breathe easy as you do this? Let's let this go. Bring everything back down. Let's get back to either a child's pose like this, or just coming to a seat if that's more comfortable for you. Wherever you need to be to rest for a breath or two. All right, come on back up when you're ready. Okay, let's try a modified version of a side plank now. So I'm gonna turn on my side here so I can show you a little more easily where we're going. So we'll start with the right hand. Step your right hand over to the right a little bit more, and then shift your weight over into your right hand and your right knee, so much that you can come up onto your left fingertips here. And now step your left leg back so that your toes are tucked under and that leg is nice and straight. Awesome. So your weight is a little bit more over to your right side. Maybe you can lift your left hand up and bring it up onto your hip. Nice. Maybe you stay here. That is perfectly fine. Maybe just experiment with lifting your fingertips up and down a little bit. And if you're here, you can stay just like this, or you can open your chest up a little bit, maybe even reach the top arm up towards the ceiling. If you feel super steady here, you can lift that back leg up off of the ground as well. Nice. Let's take a breath here. Noticing again what is working in your core to help you be here. And then let's let this go piece by piece, coming back down to your tabletop. Nice. From there, let's do a plank and come down to the ground between sides of our side plank. So, starting in your tabletop, one at a time, step your legs back like this. Find your plank pose, and you can be up like this, or you can have your knees down on the ground like this. Doesn't matter which version you pick. Let's take a breath here. Let's come all the way down, setting yourself down on the ground, belly down. Rest your head, rest your arms. Just breathe here. Okay. And let's do a little bit of work to connect with the muscles on the back of our core. So we'll start off with our cobra pose, a nice little back bend. So begin by setting your hands on the ground by the sides of your ribs. And then roll your shoulders up and back and add some length to your spine. Same thing as before. Just picture that you could reach from your belly button down towards your tailbone, all the way down towards your heels. And at the same time, from your belly button up to the top of your head and beyond. Nice. With that nice long spine, just peel your head and your chest up away from the ground a bit. Here, you can use your hands for support, but feel the back of your body. Notice which muscles, which areas of your back are working to hold you here. And then let it go. And we're going to try that again, maybe using our hands a little differently. If that felt like a great challenge, then stay there with your cobra pose for the rest of these little movements. If you want to try some more, then step your hands a little bit out to the sides, come up onto your fingertips. Set up the same way, shoulders rolling back, nice long spine, lifting your head and your chest up. And if you want to try that next step, you can lift your fingertips off the ground. Now you might really feel what is waking up on the back of your body here when you try this out. Let's lower and lift a few times. Coming back down, lifting back up. Try that. Experiment. And another piece you can add if you like. You bring your arms down by your sides. As you lift up, you can reach your hands back. Maybe even lift your feet up off the ground as well. Nice. Again, lowering and lifting, whether you're in your cobra pose, whether you're doing cobra without your hands, or whether you're doing this hands and feet version. Let it go. Rest everything. Take a breath. And when you're ready, come on back up to your tabletop. Okay, let's try that modified side plank on the other side. So from your table, step your left hand out to the left a bit. Shift your weight over into the left hand and left knee. Come up onto your right fingertips. Reach your right leg back. Nice. And you might stay right here, just experimenting with shifting your weight over to the left side. Or you might bring your right hand to your hip. You can stay here, turn down towards the ground a little bit, or you can open your chest up to the side. And then you can choose again. Stay right here or lift arm or leg or both up away from the ground. And breathe here. You've been getting more familiar with your core. Notice here what is working to keep you here. And then again, piece by piece, let this go. Nice. Take a breath here. Okay. Let's try a bigger version of that side plank. And if this guy felt like a really nice challenge for you, then you can stick with that one as we go into the next version. It is great work to stay right there. But if you'd like to do the next version, I'll show you briefly where we're going to go so that you've got a bit of a visual. We will start in our plank. Step one foot up just a little bit, and then shift our weight over into one hand and one knee so that this foot we stepped up can be a bit of a kickstand for our side plank. And so that's one version. The other version is to bring this front foot all the way down. So we're in a full side plank like this. So let's do that all together. Okay, so set yourself up for plank. Find a good position so you've got enough space to stretch your legs back on your mat. Try to position your hands so that your wrists are roughly underneath your shoulders. So you've got a nice direct line of support here. And then step your feet back. Find your plank pose. Nice. Step your right foot up just a little bit like this. Shift your weight over into your left hand and your left foot and roll your foot over so that you're leaning on the outer edge of your left foot. And then the whole right foot can come down to the ground like this. Nice. So here's version one. Maybe you lift the top arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe you keep it on your hip. It's fine. Lovely. Maybe stay here. Maybe step the other foot back like this. Wherever you are, breathe. You must be feeling the core now. Where do you feel it? Lovely. Piece by piece, let this go, whichever version you've been in. And then come on back to either a child's pose or a seat, whatever is best for you to take a moment to rest. And come on up once again. Let's do that side plank on the other side. All right, so setting yourself up again. Find your plank. This time, step the left foot up a little bit. Roll over so your weight is in your right hand and the side of your right foot. Nice. This might be where you stay, or if you want the full side plank, bring the other foot down to meet the one that is already there. And take a breath or so here. And as you breathe, what is working here? Can you connect with that part of your core that is doing the work here? Nice. Maybe one more breath. Feel free to let this go whenever you're ready, though. And when you're ready, piece by piece, let this go. Come on back to a resting pose, whichever version you'd like. And come on back up. Nice. Take a moment here, just tune in. Notice how you feel. What can you feel in your core? Is it just the front that you notice has been working, or can you feel a bit on the sides and the back of your body as well? Nice. All right. Let's give our wrists a little bit of love before we finish up today because we've been putting a lot of pressure on those wrists. So find your tabletop position again. Walk your hands a little bit closer together. Then step your fingers out to the side so you're turning your hands out. Nice. Now let's bring in a little bit of movement, just shifting back and forth. Maybe you'd like to move in circles a couple of times. And then we'll let this go. Walk your hands back to the starting place. Okay, and now walk your hands a little closer back towards your knees. So more of your weight's in your knees than in your hands. And take one hand and flip it over. So the top of your hand is on the ground and your fingertips are turning back towards your knee a little bit. And if this is comfortable, you can stay here. If you find that you're really straining here, maybe your elbows bending, then bring your hand back even more. So there's less weight in your hand and more in your knees. So be where you need to be to feel a bit of stretch without any strain. And take a breath or two. Gently letting this one go. Let's switch to the other side. Make any adjustments you need to find a position that's actually comfortable, reasonably comfortable. And then let that go. Gently bring your hand back down. Come on back to your tabletop shape. And now just come up to a kneeling position and just circle your wrists a few times. If you like, you can hold onto your forearm with your hand like this so that when you circle, your arm is staying still and it's just your wrist doing that movement. Do that on the other side a few times as well if you haven't already. Nice. Okay. All right. And let's come right back down to the ground where we started on your back. Okay. And once you're here, just bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a bit of a hug, feeling your spine rounding, pressing down to the ground a little bit as you do. You can bring in a little bit of rocking movement if you'd like. Let that go. Place your feet back down on the ground. Bring your arms out. Let's do a few snow angel arms here, just sweeping your arms up overhead and back down. Couple times with that movement. Let that one go. Let's move our legs a little bit now. With your knees bent and your feet on the floor, walk your feet a little farther away from your seat. Walk them a little wider apart. And then just let your knees windshield wiper from side to side a couple of times. And come on back to center. And now just find a position, either staying on your back, or you can roll over to your side, lay on your belly, or you can come to a seat. We're just going to stay in a resting pose for a few minutes to finish off our class. So when you're comfortable, take a few deeper breaths. As you do so, bringing your awareness back inside. Notice how you feel from the inside out. Connect with the weight of your body. Just feel as if you could let go a little bit and allow the weight of your body to be supported by whatever it is you're resting on. And as you continue to breathe here, see if you can let go a little bit more with each exhale. Can you soften? Can you allow your body to rest into the support of the ground or wherever you are? And I encourage you to stay here just resting for a few more minutes. Thank you so much for practicing with me today.